Hello, everybody. If you haven't heard, Project Assistant has an exciting new feature that I'd like to go over with you today. I haven't really had much chance to play with it myself, but I thought I'd take a swing at making a quick video to show off this new feature, which is the ability to calibrate cameras for analytics right inside of Project Assistant. Not only do we have this new ability, but it's a pretty slick new interface that makes it easier than ever to get your calibrations spot on. As you can see in the splash screen, we have the same two options for getting a project started, either a full project or a single camera. We also have the same options for adding a camera to our project. In this case, I'm going to scan the network. A bunch of my cameras will start popping up, and I'm going to select this Micro 3000i. Obviously, I've already worked with this camera a little bit, so my basic setup is already completed. I have access to the image settings just like we always have in Project Assistant. It's already registered on the portal. I did, though, default the analytics settings in this camera, so there's no calibration information in this camera whatsoever. So I'm going to select this fourth new option. There's a full tutorial built into this, and it shows up automatically the first time you open the new update to Project Assistant. In my case, this isn't the first time I've opened it, so I don't get that automatically, but I can access it here via this little help button. We also get some helpful tips about how to go about this. But first and foremost, we're just going to give the camera some really basic information. What kind of shot is this? Is this a steep bird's eye view looking straight down, near field, or a really flat far field shot? In this case, I'm going to select near field. One of the great things that's built into this is the ability to access recorded video, much like we have in Config Manager now. But I can go back to where I know that there was some activity. In this case, I did take a quick stroll in my yard this morning, and you'll have to forgive my attire for this. This is the first office day I've had in weeks, and I didn't dress up for it. I'm also going to be using this new button, this snapshot button you can see here in the bottom left. So as I come out into the yard, I stop briefly in several locations so that I can help use those images to calibrate my camera. And you'll see how this all goes together in just a moment. So here I am coming out the door. I got my snapshot button ready. So first I'm going to stop over here next to the fence and I'm going to snapshot that. And you can see I start populating this little snapshot timeline down here of each of these stops in my yard. And this is going to allow calibration much more easily than we've ever had in the past. I'm going to get one more as I'm exiting the scene. So I've got my snapshots. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So an entirely new feature is the ability to correct for distortion. As you guys know, wide fields of view, not only panoramic cameras, but any really wide angle camera like this one that's a 130-degree lens, will start to introduce some lens distortion. We now have this ability to correct that. So we can take what we know to be a straight line in real life, like the top of my fence, and then tell the camera it's actually bent like this in the field of view. And we can correct for that distortion. So you see we get this kind of funny image as a result, but all of my lines are now straight and the camera can understand heights in different parts of the field of view much better with this distortion being corrected. Totally new feature and a really valuable addition. So again, I'm going to click continue. Now I have the option to add calibration elements, just like I always did. Vertical elements, ground elements, or angles, but I also have a great new one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I don't have a height. It's prompting me to fix that height. So I'm going to type this in. I know this camera is 2.9 meters off of the ground. It's also auto-populated the focal length of the lens because the camera knows that. We would have this green icon indicating that the camera populated it with sensor data for these other things if this weren't a 3000 camera and it had a MIM sensor. But in this case, we're going to do a manual calibration, which is easier than ever. So we have a new calibration element to use, and this is where those snapshots become so handy. So I'm going to click on my first snapshot of me standing out by the fence, and I'm going to tell it I would like to draw a person. So I simply mark my feet and then put this little circle on my head. And I tell it that I'm 1.83 meters tall. I'm 6 feet tall, that's 1.83 meters. So now I'm going to go to the next snapshot where I stopped over here, and I'm going to add another person. Start at my feet, put the circle on my head. 1.83 meters as well. Click on the next snapshot. Now I'm a little bit closer. I'm also off to the side, so it makes me look a little bit slanted. But I am going to do the same thing. Start at the feet, put the circle on my head. Snapshot here. Now we're in the near field. You guys start to get the idea. Super simple. Let's do one more. Near field as well. Not quite standing straight up in this case, but we can sort of interpolate that. Now I've got those things. I also have the ability to verify my calibration. So if I want to check this, I actually get a little person icon that I can stand in various parts of the field of view and make sure they're about the right size based on what I've got. Super slick capability, gives great feedback right there on exactly what our calibration is doing. Is it accurate? Does it make sense? So again, I verified it. That looks pretty good. You can see my parameters are now populated. I'm going to click continue. That's it, guys. That's the whole thing. You get direct feedback, very intuitive, step-by-step process, and our calibration is available. I can click activate. It's going to ask me, do I want to write this calibration, and also do I want to switch the camera to 3D tracking so that I can use this calibration? Of course I do. So I'm going to click write. Bang, just like that. Green check mark, upload successful. Close this out, tell the camera I'm done, and we're back to the start screen. It's as simple as that, guys. This is the best update to video analytics and calibration in some time. I really encourage you to play around with it a little bit yourselves, and of course, get out there and communicate with your customers how much this has been improved. Thanks, everybody.